more scrummaging in this camp than any you've been part of? I guess with the 20 guys makes it easier.
I mean, we play a lot, yeah. I mean, I think that's the best way to incorporate the stuff you're working on. You know, you show it to us, and then immersion. You throw them in there. You throw them in with the Sharks and let us figure it out. You know, that game speed is hard to replicate, but at the same time, in practice, you know, that's all we got. So you got to play.
If you had to sum up a Nick Nurse training camp, how would you do it?
Oh, he's very concise, to the point. You know, everything's organized. He's ready to go. He knows what he want to teach that day, what the emphasis is. And we knock it out. We get at it. He makes sure he hits the hammer on the head, and we keep, you know, the last couple of days, especially on the defensive side of the ball, we've been at it. And, you know, he makes sure he gets his point across and he gets us a chance to play so we can see it in live action.
When you say it's chippy, is that anything out of the norm for this time of year, or was this even
no, it gets chippy, but it's a little bit more than usual with your own teammates at this time of year because you're thinking about getting ready to play the first games and all that, you know. But it's good. I like it.
Why do you think it is the best group?
Competitive fire, man. Everybody's competitive. Like, that's just, nobody want to lose. Like, screaming at the coaches because they refereeing and well, I'm not gonna say nothing about the referees. How you get fined, even our coaches. But you know, just it's a lot of it's fun. At the end of it, it's fun. During it, everybody's at each other's. Not to the point where it's dangerous, anybody can get hurt. Like, but we playing as hard as we can in a controlled environment.
Is that also part of the fact that there's 10, 12 guys in this rotation that are probably expecting pretty significant minutes? And
that too. I mean, you gotta be ready. Everybody's gotta be ready. Everybody's gotta know what we're doing, what we're trying to do. Different positions. You know, the game now, there's no positions besides the point guard and the center. Everybody else is just out there. So it's interesting to see, you know, guys move around and figure out spots and how to play with each other. So,
CJ, Nick's kind of experimented with a lot of different combinations in games and in practice. Have you start to feel any sort of chemistry or familiarity with a certain group more so than anybody else?
I mean, I'm tied to the mob forever, so no, true, but it's another thing we can't replicate. Like, we had a whole year together, and like, I mean, we miss Yak and everything, but when we see him, he can try to cut his head off. So.
Part of Nick's ethos is that he wants one guy to slide in for another guy and to have the group look the same.
Mm-hmm.
And to Eric's point, like, the bench won't be the same bench every game. Like, how hard is that to adjust to and know that your role might change on a game-to-game basis when usually over 82 it's about stability?
For me personally, I've done it.
Yeah.
Like, a lot my whole career. I did it even some last year. But as a group, I think that's the biggest part about us, what we're doing in practice, mixing the groups and playing as hard as we are, so guys can get a feel and an understanding of what to do, how to play with Freddie or versus Kyle, how to play with DeLon versus Freddie, or me and Serge playing together more, or me and OG, whoever it is. Like, just figuring it out and making the offense and defense, you know, principles set so guys can just interchange and know where they're supposed to be.
CJ, what's more challenging, breaking in a new coach or gelling with two new high-profile teammates?
I had a year with Nick, so I don't really look at it that way, you know. Nothing's been thrown at me that's unfamiliar, but I think at this point, there's not a lot of things you can throw at me that's unfamiliar. I've seen so much. And then with those two guys, you know, them being older guys and understanding too, it's easy. We just talk. You know, older guys usually are better at talking because they don't want to move as much, so.
Danny was telling us yesterday that Kawhi's been more vocal than ever before. Now, obviously, you can't speak to how he was in San Antonio, but what kind of a leader has he been for the first 2 weeks?
I mean, he does have a quiet demeanor. That's no question. Like, but for what I was expecting, it's 10 times more communication than I would have thought, just from, you know, what you see and what you hear. But he's been great. You know, he's sharing his knowledge. He obviously plays hard. He's a great defender. He does things the right way. So. Him having more of a voice will only help us because he already, with his play, says enough. So if we can get him talking and him helping lead the young guys and him stepping forward to help us in situations is always going to be great.
We don't see a lot of the scrimmages. Tell us about Chris Boucher, what his game is like, because we don't see it an awful lot.
He surprises people every day, man. Yeah. Like, since I got here, I mean, I didn't know him. The first couple of days, obviously, I noticed he's mobile for his size. He runs the floor, he blocks shots. Then he starts making threes. And then I hope he dunks on JB one of these days. But, I mean, he's got a chip on his shoulder. He plays hard, man. Like, that's the biggest thing, though. He competes, and you can see it in his face and his demeanor when he turns his switch on, you know. But he's been great.
been cross-matched with Kawhi much? Has he picked you up in
Yeah.
the scrimmage?
I mean, yeah, we similar positions, so we been on this team a lot. I mean, for the first few times because of this, I was with the first group, but today we matched up. A couple of days we mix and match. So I mean, he's exactly what you think. It's tough, you know. He makes it tough, you know. I get lucky because I got guys screening for me, so.